In the lead-up to their highly anticipated showdown, Islam Makhachev appears noticeably bigger than Jack Della Maddalena. Meanwhile, coach Javier Mendez revealed that preparing for this fight required more film study than ever before. He admitted he had never spent so much time breaking down an opponent for Islam, but JDM's skills demanded that level of respect and attention. Mendez explained that Makhachev himself is never an easy fighter to decode, so creating the right strategy takes sharp focus and patience. Even so, he expressed strong confidence in their camp's ability to find the answers. While he acknowledged the challenge ahead, Mendez was clear that they believe they'll get the job done.
When was the last time you think you watched the smudge tape for an Islam fight?
Never.
Really?
Never.
Wow.
I never watched tape for Islam fight. Never. This is the first time because I respect this guy that much, and he's a puzzle. He's not that easy. I'm telling you, he's not that easy. So we'll get him, and I have to be confident that we'll get him, because if I don't, then what's the point of watching the videos, right? We can't get him. No, we'll get him. It's just very difficult because he's so damn good.
Dustin Poirier pointed out that Islam Makhachev is a massive lightweight who will eventually move up to welterweight with ease, noting that life outside of camp would be more natural for him at that size. Poirier even suggested that Islam has the tools to become a champion at 170 pounds. When discussing the clash with Jack Della Maddalena, Poirier emphasized that the opening exchanges will be critical. He explained that the fight could hinge on how well JDM handles the takedowns, avoids being trapped against the fence, and manages to get back on his feet. Poirier admitted it's tough to call, since JDM is big, athletic, and dangerous, which makes the matchup especially intriguing.
He's a big guy. I think he's going to fill into that weight. He's a really big 155er. So I think his lifestyle outside of training camp is going to be a little more comfortable, and he'll fill into that weight class no problem. He could be champion there for sure.
How do you think he does against JDM?
I think the beginning of the fight's going to tell the story, like how well JDM does at getting up, how well JDM does at keeping Islam off of his feet, off of his legs, off of the cage. It's tough to call that because JDM's a big guy, athletic. I'm excited about that. A lot of fun fights in the future.
Islam Makhachev has looked noticeably bigger than Jack Della Maddalena throughout camp, appearing strong and fully adjusted to the welterweight frame while still carrying his trademark speed and precision. His dedication has been evident in every aspect of training, from grueling grappling rounds to sharp striking drills and relentless conditioning. Those in his circle note that he approaches each session with the same champion-level discipline that defined his rise to the top. The message is clear. Makhachev isn't just preparing to handle JDM's size and power, he's getting ready to smother him with constant pressure and all-around skill once they step into the cage. Israel Adesanya voiced his confidence in Jack Della Maddalena, predicting that he has what it takes to defeat Islam Makhachev. Adesanya recalled sparring with Jack, not at full intensity, but came away impressed by his sharpness and the unpredictability of his scrambles. He suggested that once Makhachev steps into the cage with him, he may realize the challenge is far greater than expected. Adesanya also pointed out that many people overlook Jack's size and physical strength, describing him as solid and powerful. With that in mind, he went as far as to predict a knockout victory for Della Maddalena, saying he has complete confidence in his ability to get the job done.
Della versus Islam, how are we feeling about that?
I think Della is going to get it done. I've only sparred Della once, not really hard crazy, but his scrambles are crazy. And I feel Islam would feel like he bit off more than he could chew once he gets in there with him. People don't realize how big Della is as well. He's solid. He's going to knock him out, and I believe him. I honestly believe him.
Robert Whittaker admitted that his support tilts toward Jack Della Maddalena, not only out of national pride, but also because of the skill set Jack brings into the matchup. He pointed to Jack's size, his underrated grappling, and his precise, angled striking as tools that could give Islam Makhachev real problems. Whitaker explained that Makhachev may find it difficult to land clean takedowns, while Jack's sharp boxing and heavy body shots could throw off Islam's rhythm and create serious danger at any point in the fight.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can see the fight playing out very much like it did with Volk, okay? But Jack's bigger. Jack's a little, he's a little bigger. He's got a different frame. He's a hard dude to try and hold down. And I think his jiu-jitsu is very underrated. He has good jiu-jitsu, which means it won't be free. The takedowns won't be free. Being on top of him won't be free. Not to mention, Jack has really good hands. And if he can keep it into that mid-range, into that distance that he likes, make it awkward. He's very good at not only punching straight lines, but punching up. So his hooks, his uppercuts, he mixes it really well. He works the body, which makes it harder to shoot on. You know, I think there's enough angles there to give Islam trouble.
Meanwhile, Mohammed Mokaev shared his interest in one day seeing Islam Makhachev square off against Ilia Topuria. He explained that the fight would hold far more significance if both fighters first secured and defended titles in their own divisions, setting the stage for a true champion versus champion showdown. In his view, there's no need to rush the matchup. Letting it build naturally would make it an even bigger event for the sport.
Now, for example, Islam fights Ilia and he beats him. Example, people say he beat another 145er. But Islam wins the title now at welterweight. And then Ilia beats Oliveira. That's even bigger fights to create, right? So I don't think Islam needs to slow down his career. He go take, even they strip his belt off. In my opinion, he will be double champion because that's how it started. If Conor could, why Islam can't, you know? And I think it create bigger name for them if this way better rather than Islam fight Topuria and the hype slows down, you know what I mean? I'd rather see Islam becomes the champion, Ilia Topuria becomes the champion, and they can fight at catchweight for the, I don't know, wherever they want. You know?
Khabib Nurmagomedov described Jack Della Maddalena as one of the toughest challenges Islam Makhachev may ever face. He pointed out that Jack carries a clear size advantage compared to someone like Ilia Topuria, and praised his well-rounded game that blends striking with grappling. Khabib admitted that if he had to choose between preparing Islam for Topuria or for Della Maddalena, Jack would be the tougher assignment because of his physical strength and dangerous all-around skill set.
Считаю, что Мадалена самый сложный соперник в Ислама карьере. Это мое мнение. Ни Чарльз, никто. Ни один из этих бойцов.
И даже не Илья, если бы это бой был бы.
Ну, мое личное мнение, во-первых, Мадалена 2 раза больше, чем Илья.
Сопоставим.
Илья. Он 2 раза больше. Он выше, больше, ноги помощнее, корпус, бокс не хуже. И грэпплинг он возится очень хорошо, если вы смотрели. Ну, для меня, если я например, буду готовить Ислама против Илья или Мадалены, для меня больше будет волновать и волнует Мадалена.
Aljamain Sterling shared a bold prediction, saying he believes Jack Della Maddalena will defeat Islam Makhachev in his first defense of the welterweight title. Sterling argued that Jack's size and punching power would make it extremely difficult for Islam to impose his wrestling and control the fight. He added that if JDM pulls off the win, it would silence any talk of Makhachev moving on to face Ilia Topuria.
You picked JDM to win. Now he's got a big challenge in his first title defense against Islam. Do you think he's got what it takes to beat an Islam Makhachev in his first defense?
People are going to say it's a wild take, but I reckon JDM smokes Islam, shins him so bad. It's going to be so bad that the Topuria Islam thing will just be gone.
Do you think Islam's wrestling won't be a threat to JDM just because he's a lot bigger?
He's a lot bigger, and when you watch JDM, you put him on the end of mid-range, he's just going to throw. It's hard to shoot in on. He's not going to be able to just abuse his size against them either. I think Islam's in for a rude awakening.
Max Holloway also threw his support behind Jack Della Maddalena, emphasizing that many people still underestimate him despite his proven credentials as one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the sport. Looking ahead to a potential October showdown, Holloway said the matchup has all the elements to be both tactical and entertaining. He highlighted Jack's experience, technical sharpness, and calm demeanor as key advantages, warning that even a dominant champion like Islam Makhachev should view him as a very real threat.
I think he'd be fine, man. I think he'd be good, but
people be sleeping on Jack, you know what I mean? And I think Jack is one of the best fighters in the world right now, and I think people is gonna find out when that match happens. I don't know. I'm hearing rumors maybe October. I think it's gonna be a fun fight, smart fight, but a lot of people counting out Jack for I don't know what reason. They just keep counting him out. Kind of reminds me of when I was like coming up and counting me out about certain fights. So I mean, he is, you know, he's the number 2 pound for pound in the world right now, but he's the number 2 pound for pound in the world for a reason. So you gotta respect that, but. You know, don't sleep on Jack. I think it's going to be a tough and fun fight.
Sean O'Malley described the showdown between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena as a top-tier matchup, though he admitted that a clash with Ilia Topuria might create even more hype. He credited Jack's strong showing against Belal Muhammad for boosting excitement around this fight with Islam. O'Malley added that if Jack can consistently defend takedowns and land clean shots, the momentum could easily shift in his favor.
At Islam relinquish his belt and go up to 170. Got JDM taking on Islam Makhachev.
I still think Islam's skill for skill is just so high level. For him to go out there and do what he did against Belal was very impressive. Made that Islam fight more interesting. If JDM can shut him down and throw those hands, but Islam's boxing is underrated. That dude is slick. His kickboxing, his timing, like he's a high level black belt in every aspect of MMA.
Big belt. Who give him that?
Jack versus Islam, I think, is huge. Not as big as Ilia versus Islam, but who knows? Maybe they both win and Islam comes back down to 55 and the fight's even bigger.
Ian Gary weighed in on the matchup, calling it a tough fight to predict. He praised Islam Makhachev as one of the most complete fighters in the sport, but cautioned that moving up a division always comes with new challenges. Gary noted that facing a crisp boxer with reliable takedown defense like Jack Della Maddalena could create serious problems for Islam in his first outing at welterweight.
Who do you think wins, Jack or Islam?
It's such a tough one to talk about. Islam is phenomenal. He's good everywhere. Size of Volkanov versus Jack Della Maddalena. There's a big size discrepancy, and Volk gave him a good fight. And then Dustin Poirier, it wasn't absolutely completely dominant by Islam. It was a tough fight. Size is going to play a huge part, even on the ground. I feel like Jack could get it done with just some clean boxing and good takedown defense. But I can absolutely see Islam coming in and doing what Islam does and going out there and just looks like the phenomenal mixed martial artist he is.
Khamzat Chimaev also shared his thoughts on the Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena showdown, describing it as both challenging and fascinating. He highlighted Makhachev's world-class grappling and ability to dictate control as a nightmare for most opponents. At the same time, he acknowledged Della Maddalena's sharp boxing and knockout power as dangerous weapons. While Chimaev leaned slightly in favor of Islam due to his track record as a proven champion, he admitted that Jack's size and striking could flip the fight on its head if he keeps it on the feet.
And who do you think's going to win in the fight between Jack Della and Islam?
It's a good fight, but a tough fight. I go a little bit more on Islam.
Stephen Thompson weighed in on the challenges Islam Makhachev could encounter by moving up to welterweight, emphasizing that the fighters in this division often bring more natural size and power. Although Jack Della Maddalena isn't significantly taller, Thompson noted that physical strength might still become a deciding factor. He praised Makhachev's elite-level wrestling but reminded fans that Jack has already dealt with accomplished grapplers such as Belal Muhammad. Thompson called it a huge test for Islam and expressed his hope that the UFC books the matchup.
I don't know, man. I mean, when you're going up to the welterweight division, those are some big boys. And I know Islam Makhachev walks around fairly heavy, but a lot of these 170s, they walk around real heavy. I'm talking about, over 205, 210 to 215. Some of the guys that I faced would walk around at that weight. I think the height, I think they might be the same height. I think JD might be a little taller. But when it comes to those guys and their strength, Islam, I think, is going to have a tough time. Now, do I think he could get it done? Bit of a grappler, but like I said, JDM has faced some of the best welterweight grapplers and wrestlers in the division. Islam, Belal being one of them. I think it's going to be a tough night for him. I would like to see Islam fight Topuria. That's just me. I would love to see that fight happen. But if he comes up, we'll see what the UFC gets behind. And we all know you got to convince the UFC to make it happen. And you do that first by getting on Twitter, shouting it out, and get people talking about it. And that's what Islam did. So we'll see if that fight happens with JDM.
Yoel Romero shared his perspective, calling the clash between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena one of the most unpredictable fights on the horizon. He pointed to Jack's knockout power combined with his underrated wrestling as reasons why this feels like a true 50-50 matchup. Romero acknowledged that Jack's takedown defense isn't flawless, which could give Islam a pathway to control, but also warned that Jack's natural size and punching strength at 170 pounds make him a real danger. He also noted that while many see Islam as the bigger athlete, Jack's frame for welterweight is actually quite imposing, which only adds to the intrigue.
What about Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena, who is a new champion in welterweight division?
It's hard because Maddalena have a very good cardio, very good puncher. Yeah. It's not bad wrestling too. It's not bad wrestling. It's a 50-50.
50-50, but Jack has not that high takedown defense. You know,
but punch it. He have a very hard punches.
And he will be more powerful than Islam, right? Or
that's exactly
because of the weight difference, right?
Yes.
Or Islam is too big for.
No. That guy Maddalena is big. For 170, he's big.
Jeff Neal shared his honest thoughts, admitting he's unsure how the fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena will play out. He acknowledged Islam's dominance at lightweight, but questioned how well that same power and control will translate when moving up to 170. Neal added that he hopes Jack has been sharpening his wrestling defense and physical strength, since stopping a grappler like Islam will be key. While he wasn't fully confident picking a winner, Neal leaned slightly toward Jack, saying he'd prefer to see him keep the welterweight belt.